Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'll start with the roll call.
Ms. Cooper Payton,
Here.
Ms. Hedlund,
Present.
Mr. Jacobson,
Here.
Ms. Jones is excused, Ms. Orcherton is excused, Mr. Patterson is excused, Ms. Salmon,
Here?
Ms. Schwartz,
Here.
Ms. Snyder.
All right. I don't believe we have any changes to the agenda, so the next step would be to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. Does anybody have any questions or comments about those minutes?
I move approval of the minutes.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Okay. There's no public input, so we're going to, we'll put off introducing Jessica to hopefully when she gets here. And we'll go ahead with the grant presentation from Clark Lindsay.
Hello. Do you mind if I sit or stand? These are comfy chairs. So hi, my name is Laura Beyer. I have worked at Clark Lindsay now for the past 5 years, and before that I was a student at the university, originally from the Chicagoland area, and now have dug my roots into Champaign-Urbana and don't plan on leaving. It's a wonderful community. I originally saw an idea similar to this when I came across the artist Candy Chang. Candy Chang is down in New Orleans, and she's done a number of public art projects. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her work, but she usually takes areas that are not at all engaged with and creates opportunities for individuals of that community to contribute and have their voice heard. So one of her first projects that I saw was an empty storefront window, and she walked by this window every day and thought, somebody should put something here. So what she did was made sticky notes, 2 stacks of sticky notes that said, I wish this was blank. And the next day she came back and the window was covered with sticky notes saying, I wish this was a bakery. I wish this was a daycare center. I wish this was a salon. I wish this was a farmer's market. A way to engage the community in positive discussion. Another one she did was Before I Die. And this model is very similar to the As I Age wall that we have along Windsor Road right now. She put this up shortly after Hurricane Katrina and was able to spark a positive conversation about what do you want to do before you die. Bucket list items, things like that. Leading Age, which is a national organization that houses over 5,000 aging services organizations, created a wall in Nashville a couple years ago that was As I Age. I've been kind of addicted to this model and looking at Candy Chang's work, and I thought it would be so cool if we could bring this to Urbana. In Champaign, there was a similar wall that was Before I Die. And the As I Age wall is different because it's not the end of the road. It's not a bucket list. It's about growth and improvement and what will your life look like as you age. We're all aging. It doesn't matter if you're 5 or 85, that we're all on this progression of life. And it was also a way to empower older adults to have a voice. It is also a fear and a misconception that as you grow older, your voice doesn't matter as much. And same with 5-year-olds. 5-year-olds think their voice doesn't matter either. So this was a really cool opportunity to have it open to everyone to have their voice heard. Our responses, some were silly, some were serious, some were your typical, my knees hurt more. But some of them were so uplifting, and we took a pretty good record of all of the responses that we got. When rain came, all the responses got washed away, and it filled up within the next day. We had to replenish the chalk a number of times so we could keep the responses coming. And it's just been such a wonderful thing to have at that location as well, because if you know Windsor Road, it's not the prettiest site right now. But it's been a way to increase that positive thinking, positive sharing with humanity as a whole. So it's been a really fun project that we wouldn't have been able to do without this funding. This is something that I felt very passionate about, and my leadership team said, well, if you can come up with the money, you can do it. I was like, okay, I'll try. So I've been thinking about this for years, and I just feel so blessed and honored that we were able to pull it off with the help of the Public Art Commission. So thank you very, very much. Does anyone have any questions?
So I assume that the money went into the physical, or a lot of the money went into the physical apparatus.
Mm-hmm.
But is that still there and available to everybody? So this can be an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it just gets washed out by the rain and redone,
Mm-hmm.
because I just think that captures sort of the balance between, and that you make a record of it. It sort of captures the balance between the transience of life and what gets left after transient events happen. So, yeah, this is so cool.
Go ahead,
Thank
Beth.
you.
I have a lot of friends that live at Clark Lindsay Village, and I think it's also a way of making the community aware of the center and what is possible in our community. And I live in the neighborhood, so I see the traffic stopping there, and it's very visible for everybody to see and think about. So it's making a big impact.
Good, thank you.
I'm just curious, my mother was at Clark Lindsay for a long time. Did you save any of these and take them inside so people could see them as well, or?
That is a great idea. We haven't done that yet.
Well,
but
you still got a record.
Oh, we still
so
have
you can
plenty
play
of
this.
time. So
Yeah.
if,
Play your
I just thought they
slideshow.
might enjoy seeing some
Oh,
of
they
those.
would,
Obviously not
especially.
all of them, but yeah.
yeah, there are a number of residents that have challenges getting out.
Right.
So it would be a wonderful opportunity to bring it to them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you for that.
Sure.
idea.
Piggyback off in your own homework.
Yeah, great.
got it right
thanks. I got it done.
Does anybody else have comments or questions?
I just have a small
Oh, go
thing.
ahead.
So I don't know if you're aware, but there is a student group at the university called City Space. They're recently funded through, excuse me, iVenture, and they actually have a very similar project right now, I believe, at the Quad and Pizza M. So their prompt was, "Before I graduate, blank." And I kind of chuckled when I saw that because it reminded me of your project, and maybe you can get connected with them and collaborate in the future or something.
Very cool. Thank
so
you.
it's City Space,
City Space. Okay.
SITI Space.
They have to be fancy.
Well, thanks very much. I'm glad it was so successful.
Thank you. And as a little thank you, I printed off a couple pictures from Walgreens, and they're just kind of fun reminders that I thought you might take and hang up on your fridge or put at your desk. So
Thank you. Okay. Our next presentation is from the Central Illinois Puppetry Guild.
The dynamic duo is here.
Now, I'm not quite clear where, oh, here. Is this gonna be it? Can you, I can't read it. Does that say presentation?
These are the
Does that-
previous
Does this say,
participants.
does that say, that one? There we go. Oh, really? I was gonna hit down.
Can I pull it a little closer for you? Or that?
Yes. Send that to my son.
Okay. Well, we don't need it, we can look
I
at
will
that.
have more parties. Okay. I will eat
Well, okay, yeah, I'm Elizabeth Goldsmith Conley, and this is the present,
I'm Ann Newman.
Welcome back.
and
Thank
she's,
you.
no.
Good to see you both.
Both of us have been here before. Now, I'm not sure if this changes the slide.
Yeah.
Okay. So, by the way, I want to mention that you see the logo up there?
Mhm.
That was made by a former member who moved to Wisconsin, very talented. So this tells you a little bit about our organization. We are a nonprofit. We started in 1987, and we're an official member of Puppeteers of America. Now, you can do that, since Anne's the one who... Oh, okay, you set up the mission.
Well, I don't suppose I need to read it because you folks
No,
can
read.
read. But there's our mission. Everyone is welcome, amateurs, professionals, and we just want to promote puppetry, and we enjoy getting together. We often get together formally we rent space at the Champaign Public Library, or sometimes the Urbana Free Library, and other times we just meet for dinner, and everyone is welcome to join us, whether they're doing puppet shows for birthday parties or in their own home.
Right, we publish when our meeting is, and as a result of this project, we now have another place to meet that is no cost. It will be at the Dr. G has an area for, and I thought that would be a great place.
Yeah.
We have a Facebook page, so, and any of you who are secretly desiring to be puppeteers, go to the Facebook page, and we welcome you as members. I'm going to talk with the current member.
We have a core group of 5 people right now, and we've had people come as far as Bloomington,
Springfield.
Springfield
Right.
even, and they kind of come and go. People come and stay for a while, and if they move out of the area, then we hope someone else will come in and join us. We're very fluid.
Right, but we've actually launched, I can't remember, Ben went out to Portland and became one of our members who learned about puppetry through our guild and didn't know anything about national organizations, became a full-time puppeteer on the West Coast. Currently, these are the members: Anne, who is director of the Paxton Library; Charmaine, who specializes in early childhood; me, I do a variety of things; Ginger has, oops, this is not the corrected version. Oh, well, okay. And Mike, who's been a theater educator. Anne was telling you that we meet 4 or 5 times a year, and we've done joint presentations. You are all welcome to come to the Children's Literature Festival on October 22nd, when we will all be performing.
At 1 p.m.
Oh, you know what? The sound effects are not on. Well, this had a clapping one. I see I didn't check the sound. Well, came up for that one, right?
Yes.
So thanks to you, we were able to do 2 Puppet Paloozas. And Anne is the one who worked out the title. You want to tell them what this is?
The flyer?
Yeah.
That's our flyer. We each took a Saturday, and we've all seen each other's shows before, and we've all worked together before, so we were confident that every show would be a family show, and it was. Every show would be entertaining, and they were.
And Mike O'Brien made the flyer, and then Charmaine posted it. Mike did the first show, and on June 4th, and we this is our second year. It was much more successful than the first year. First of all, I know I contacted the different businesses in the area, and they brought flyers and some coupons, which we set out on a table. We had a larger audiences this year. Mike does a show based on children's picture books. These are just some of the picture books that he included in this year's show. Each year he adds to his repertoire.
And my show was Punch and Judy Visit the Library. I've done Punch and Judy before. It's kind of a tame version. I'm very careful. I tend to have my evil characters get hurt by karma rather than violence. Where someone is fighting and they fall off a cliff, that sort of thing. The bad guy always gets it in the end. And I brought a brand new show, and I brought a brand new marionette vignette that I'm working on right now with my bear. He blows up a balloon and he floats away. It's a very heartfelt program for me because it's about endings and goodbyes, and I've said some goodbyes this year, so that was very special to me. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to try out some new material. I think they liked it.
Yes, they definitely liked the beer. Ginger's show was on June 18th, and she tried out a new show. She's always adapting her shows, The Gingerbread Boy and the Pot of Gold, and it was well received. Then I did a show, and I did the same show that I usually do. I have two shows at this point that are very polished, and this one is a really delightful, humorous folk tale, and I love to get a chance to perform it, and people thoroughly enjoy it. Charmaine's show was in July, and you can see she had this large. She was able to get a participant to help her out with the show, and her shows involve lots of kids singing and dancing, and are very well received. So we're happy to have introduced many children, and many adults come up and say that's the first time they've ever seen a live puppet show. You want to do the second one?
I think we increased traffic in Lincoln Square. Is that right?
Definitely,
Yeah,
right.
the vendors were really happy with this.
And I know Phyllis, I emailed her to say, could she give me a quote? And she said, oh, definitely. She loved it, and that they had threefold increase in traffic. It gave us an opportunity to polish shows. And then I think we've got some new members that that I wrote down, and I'm supposed to inform when we have our next meeting.
Cool.
So,
Thank you.
thank you, Urbana Public Arts Commission. But we thought we couldn't just do a slideshow. So we thought we'd have a final word from,
Did you bring your punch?
no, that's your,
This is punch.
wait a minute. You're a Punch? You're Mr. Punch?
I'm Mr. Punch.
Ah, well, I'm Mr. Punch too.
I
Not
have to
gonna-
be Punch up here because my wife has a much lower voice.
Ah, okay, well, we'll meet her in a little bit. We just wanted to say, you can see there are many different versions of Punch. Wait a minute, no, I gotta come out. You can't possibly talk to them without me. Oh, right, she's my alter ego. Whoops. So, hello there. I hope you are happy to meet some live puppets. Whoop! Who are you? Oh,
Mr. Punch. Oh, sorry.
Huh.
This is my wife, Judy.
Yeah, well, he's a pretty nice looking guy. Well, I'm not sure I want you to say that. So we'll just say hello, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you so much.
So, thanks for giving us this opportunity. We're sorry we can't do it year after year.
Do you have any questions?
Anybody have questions or comments?
I have a comment.
You
It's
look
not a
happy.
question.
Yeah, I always have questions. So, how is puppeteering going as an activity across the nation? Are more and more people doing it, or is it sort of steady, or what's going on with it?
Well, that's an actually interesting question. We belong to Puppeteers of America, and on the one hand, I think the organization is a little bit down in membership. On the other hand, look at the huge success of there have been big shows on Broadway recently, and puppets have been involved in many productions. And I wish I just saw one that was when we went to New York. It was for adults. It was really hysterically funny. This woman has gotten a job helping she's going to have a church have their teen group present puppet shows, but the teen's puppet starts taking charge and is kind of an evil character and becomes very wild. I think it's called Hand to God, and that was really good. And then Julie Taymor, with her productions, has really had a great success.
On a local level, I'd say, well, we know we had more people at Lincoln Square. At one of the last shows, they had people directing traffic behind us, trying to keep the way open for people to get to the vendors, the stores. And I'm getting a lot of phone calls for puppet shows that I wasn't expecting, which I'm juggling with my full-time job, but I'm loving it. It's really interesting. I think people are screen tired. I think they want their kids up and doing something, so when I do shows, I do workshops sometimes too. I have one in the morning at Annabelle Hewling Learning Center, and we're going to make puppets after the show. We got 30 kids making puppets tomorrow. So at least from what I see, we're getting a lot of shows, and Mike is too.
Well, that's good. We will hope that we will be getting more members.
Yeah.
Oh, Barb, go ahead.
I had the privilege of attending your Punch and Judy show, and my husband took some pictures, which Pauline posted on our Public Arts Commission page. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought the level was great. I also liked the little educational component you snuck in there. Being a librarian, you couldn't kind of avoid it, but it was very well. I thought it was very tasteful, teaching kids about coming to the library and how to use the library. I thought you worked that in really well.
There's a lot of rules.
I'm sure.
Be quiet or they kick you out.
Oh yeah, yeah. But it was really an enjoyable program, and everyone that was there really enjoyed it. I could tell, and I'm looking forward to our Peter and the Wolf production for the Central Illinois
Yes.
Youth Literacy
I'm working
Festival.
on Grandpapa right now. Yeah.
There's a collaboration between the members of the Champaign-Urbana Symphony and the Puppetry Guild at the Youth Literacy Festival on October 22nd at 1 o'clock in the iHotel.
Making our own puppets is a big part of it for most of us. Not all of us, but for most of us, making our own puppets. But if you don't make puppets and you just like to do puppets, or you just want to come, next time we have a meeting, please join us.
But that sounds I will be looking forward to the Peter and the Wolf. And I'm trying to remember Ken, he's directed many, he's had a program on WILL, Kevin, and he had invited me several years ago to do puppets for the Magic Flute. And we did shadow puppets. So
I bet it was fun.
yeah, it was really.
he's moved
so
away
puppets
now.
really work well with lots of things.
Well, thanks very much. Sounds like it was very successful. And
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for coming and bringing your friends.
So what I don't need to do anything with the slideshow, okay?
no, that's okay. Thank you. Okay, next we're going to have the monthly progress report.
Hi everyone. We'll start the August report with Artists of the Corridor. So we had our opening reception. It was not that well attended, but a few artworks sold, and so far 4 artworks have sold through Artists of the Corridors. So Judy Lee, the artist, is happy with that. And the next show will feature photographs by Rachel Storm. Rachel Storm, you may remember from Out of the Mouths of Babes at the IMC. So I think she recently traveled to Peru to work with a women's rights group there, and she took very beautiful pictures, and that will be featured starting September. We're like halfway done with Art at the Market. The August 1 will feature music by Los Guapos, and also there will be a workshop by Makerspace. They will teach visitors how to turn t-shirts into tote bags. So visitors are encouraged to bring their own t-shirts to upcycle, but there'll also be just old t-shirts there ready for anyone to try. For Art Now, in July, Sarah Jones interviewed, I'm sorry, that's August. For August, Sarah Jones interviewed Michael Owen Thomas. So these are his paintings. I'll make it bigger. So he does paintings and also graphic design. And last month's artist was Lynn Smith, who's also a painter, but she also does watercolor and colored pencils.
She was an exhibitor at the art show last year, too, last fall.
Yes, yes. They both are, actually.
Oh.
The deadline for the Urbana Art Expo has been extended to, I guess, this yesterday, Monday, and now it has closed officially. We did not get as many applications as last year, but we still have a decent amount, so I think the jury will be able to select well from that pool. The jury is meeting tomorrow, Wednesday, and Pat Salmon will be there, and Jason Patterson will be there too, as well as representatives from 40 North and from the community. And I'll talk more about the sculpture project because it's in the discussion item, but just to sum up, we have sculptures that are expiring, so these are leaving the community in the fall. Well, Asteroid, the one on the left, that's actually expired already, so we're just waiting to hear back from the artist to see where she can pick it up, when she can pick it up. And we also have 3, and these are also the sculptures that are expiring, but we have 3 new ones that are coming in this fall, so we're excited about that, and I'll talk more about that in a bit. In terms of marketing, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram keep growing. We have 1,218 likes on Facebook, 1,766 followers on Twitter, and 259 followers on Instagram. We also have these ads on Smile Politely. And I don't know why the Art Expo one is not flashing, but it should, just like the Art Now and the Arts at the Corridor ones. Arts in the schools. It's about time to do this again, and I'm planning on releasing the guidelines in about, actually this week, so in about a couple of days. I'm just getting it proofread right now. So this is a picture from one of our recipients 2 years ago. So again, this year we'll have 3,000 available for art education projects happening in our local school district, number 116. Sorry.
Can I ask a quick question about that? Because I saw that in your notes, and I believe that the website says information will be available September 1 or so. In September, is that correct?
Oh, yeah. I think that is on the website. I'm just releasing it early, but the deadline will be like end of September and October.
Okay. Because I sent a note around to some area teachers and things, trying to make them aware of it.
Perfect, thank
start
you.
Looking, but I wanted to make sure. I should have probably checked with you first to make sure that it was accurate.
Yeah, thanks for that.
It was on the website that it was okay, but
and I'm planning on contacting the teachers directly anyway about this, so I'll make sure they know the correct information.
Great.
Thank you. So I have this fundraising idea. Common Ground, every month they select a local group, usually a nonprofit, and they do this thing called Round Up for Good. So when you make a purchase, they ask if you want to round up to the closest number, and then they will donate the difference to the group. And I think every group would get between 3,000 to 5,000 for that duration of the month. So in September, they're going to receive nominations for groups to be included in the 2017 lineup. And if you're an owner, you have the right to nominate a group. So I would nominate the public arts program, and I would invite you to do the same.
What's the procedure for that?
So if you're an owner, I think you can go to their website.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Okay.
The staff member I talked to said that I should just check back in early September when they have it set, or either that, or you can probably go there and they usually will have some sort of ballot or something that you can write on.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my guess.
I think if you're a member, there'll be something in the. They have a monthly newsletter as well. It'll probably be
They do.
mentioned in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have two at least coworkers who are also members, and that's kind of like our kitchen across the street. So they'll be happy to nominate us as well. So the 12 groups that are selected, they'll be selected based on the numbers of nominations. So the more nominations we get, the more likely we are to be included.
Okay. I think that's it then. Next, we'll move to discussion of the Urbana Art Expo.
I don't know if, Pat, you have anything you want to share about this? I know you serve in the working group.
No, I said the Art Expo, not the. That's the order we have things here.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted me to speak about the sculpture project.
Oh, or we can do that too.
Oh.
Well, I'll start off the art expo. As I mentioned, the deadline was extended. I think we do a lot more marketing this year, so I'm not sure why we're not receiving the numbers we got last year. It's not that it's bad, but sometimes there's really no specific reason. Sometimes people just don't feel like applying. But I do
at the
know
same time?
it's around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we got really good feedback from artists who participated last year, so I don't think it's the experience. Yeah, so that's just my random thought.
Who knows?
But it's helpful to have 40 North and Kelly help promote it. They sent out a few email blasts about this. I don't know if anyone has anything to add or ask about the Art Expo. I just thought this
Well,
should
I
be...
did look at the things that were submitted on Dropbox this afternoon, and I'm pretty happy with the selection that we have. It would
Yeah.
have been better to have maybe a little bit more diversity in types of art, because most of it is paintings or drawings, but
Yes, that's
um,
true.
rather than sculpture or some other kind of art. But I'm pretty happy with what's been submitted.
Me too, and I agree with you. I think a little more diversity would be nice. And I think a lot of the painters, I noticed at least several who do landscape or still life. And it would be nice to have like more variety, I guess.
Right.
I also noticed that there's an artist who's represented by a gallery who's applying. So I don't know if I should maybe check with the gallery to make sure that there's not some exclusivity clause in their
Yeah.
agreement. Yeah. So thanks for letting me think out loud. If you have anything to add, let me know.
Are we going to need some extra help setting up?
Yes, we do need volunteers on the day. So last year we had the room the night before. So the working group went there and then we set up the lights and the walls and everything. It's a lot of work. This year, though, it's not available the night before. So
Oh my!
I guess I'll just wake up at like 3 a.m. that morning or something. We'll figure it out. It's going to be okay. But we do need help that morning to help set up because the more people we have, the faster we, move walls and whatnot. I know Sarah Jones contacted me and she's interested in volunteering. Sarah also has experience in stage design, so she loves the stuff. But if anyone else is free that day, September 18th, that's a Sunday, I would love more hands. So if you're available and you're interested, you can email me and then we can figure something out. Even if it's not the morning, even during the day, if you just want to come take pictures or come say hi to the artist or something, that would be appreciated.
Would it help to contact like one of the scout groups? to
One of
see
the...
Boys or Girl Scouts, something for a merit badge that they might be working on or something like
That's a
that?
great idea. Yes, I can. I can do that. Also, there's a group of international students at the university who are also looking for volunteering opportunities. We don't know yet if the date and place would work right now, but hopefully. That would be nice.
Okay. Anything else on that then? Okay. Then it'd be the Urbana Sculpture Project. I was one of the people on the jury, so I'll just say real quickly, there were 4 of us who were on the jury. There were actually supposed to be 6, but one person got sick and one person broke her arm that afternoon.
Oh, my.
So she could not make it, unfortunately. But there were 80 submissions. They were all kind of laid out on a table. We were at the university, and they just kind of laid them out for us. We all looked through them, and then basically each person voted yes, no, or maybe, and we kind of did it on that basis. Whoever got the most likes were the ones that were chosen. One of the things that everyone there was kind of looking for was were kind of pieces that would be different from what we already have in town, that they would look different, that they would have a different feel. And so that was part of what went into the decision process. There were also things simply like if they didn't look like they were so flimsy that they would fall apart being public art, it has to be something that's fairly sturdy and they can't be torn down easily or damaged. So you're all falling over or whatever. But I think we were in pretty close agreement on the pieces that were chosen. So after that, do you want to talk about the process then of how the other pieces? I mean, our group, that was you, myself, and Sarah.
Sarah.
Yeah.
So just to sum up,
Yeah.
Pat served in the group that PAL, the Public Art League, convened.
Right.
So PAL did the call, and then they invited the
Right.
juror. So Pat was invited to be in that group. And so after their selection, our little group also discussed what they already selected and, try to decide which ones of those would fit Urbana the best. And so that's Sarah, myself, and Pat. And then we came up with these selections. So the first one is the 3 Red Houses. And let's see, that's by Andrew Arvanites. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. But he's from DeKalb, Illinois, and I think that's a just very likable piece that we're planning to put at the Boneyard Creek Improvements Project. And then we're pretty excited about this bench-like, and it is supposed to be sat on too, so it's really sturdy. It's made of stone. It's called a New Leaf. It just looks different from the other sculptures we often see in Champaign-Urbana, I guess. And as Pat said, there's more diversity, I think, in this round than last year when I served in their selection committee. So we're happy to see that. On the right, that's Monolith, the stainless steel piece. And that's by Timothy Jorgensen from Wisconsin, and that's going to be brought down around October 31st, so we have time to look for space for that. So those are the 3 we sponsored. And then the 4th one, The Horse and the Hound, bottom middle, that one is sponsored by a local businessman who is planning on placing that in Urbana. He's an Urbana businessman, and last cycle he also sponsored a sculpture, and that was placed at the Boneyard. That's the whale sculpture, A Thirst, at the Boneyard. It's the same sponsor. Should I just go on?
Yeah, go ahead and talk about this. Did you want to talk about the sites and how much did you want to discuss that?
Sure, I have pictures of
were
the...
some of these, I know you went out with the Public Works people.
Yes.
Were some
so
of these based on their recommendations or?
Yes.
Okay.
Their recommendations and PAL and the artists even. So at our meeting with Pat and Sarah, we tried to think of the best locations for these pieces. Mm-hmm. Most of that just didn't work out for various reasons, but I'll talk more about that. So this is the first piece, as I mentioned, the 3 Red Houses. It's 8 feet tall, which is nice because we need more visibility at the new Boneyard Park. So with the height, hopefully cars that are driving past will be able to see it, and it's striking red against the mostly green backdrop. So hopefully they'll be intrigued to explore the park. This is a New Leaf. It's really heavy, 3,000. And then this is Monolith and Horse and the Hound. And so this is the place at the Boneyard that we're now thinking for this piece. Before we discussed placing this on the lawn at Boneyard, so the center of the park, but then because it's only 8 feet tall, it's not as tall as the piece there right now, A Thirst, which is like about 11 feet tall. My colleagues complained that would just not be visible from the street.
Okay.
So
will this be visible from the street, though, in this location?
Yes. We tried it.
Okay.
So we actually went there with Public Works, and we stood there and then tried to estimate the gaze from drivers. And we decided that this is a better place. It's much higher than the lawn.
Okay.
So this would be visible by people walking in the park and by people driving past, and even people just hanging out at the new indoor market that will open on Broadway. Spoiler alert. That's
I'm
going,
sorry, what is it?
It's going to be an indoor. There's going to be an indoor market
Oh, right.
on Broadway.
Mhm.
So they're,
When is
they're-
that going to open? Do we have any idea?
they started demo, so
Okay.
in the next year. I don't
A while.
know. Hopefully,
Well, these will be here.
this is
North of Black Dog.
Yeah.
the indoor market, yes. But
Yeah.
this is this park is around Race and Griggs, but the park kind of continues on to University and Broadway.
Well, and anytime the Station Theater has an event and people are hanging out at intermission
That too.
or waiting to go inside before the show starts, they would be out now in this area too.
Yes,
so they
this
would
is
see
really
it.
close to Station Theater. Also, I love the space because there's just this gap after the benches. It's like bench, and then just empty space. So I think it's good to fill it with this.
Okay.
So that's our first choice for the sculpture as of now. This we tried to, well, we wanted to place this on Vine and like Main. There's
Yeah.
a small strip of grass there. Well, that's actually county property, so it's not city property. So that makes it a bit more complicated. And also, it looks like it may not, the dimensions just may not add up. So Public Works suggested this space, and they need something here because cars don't know that this is not an exit. So if we place something there, maybe they'll realize, oh, we should exit the other way. It is. Yes, there's. So Black Dog tried to solve that problem of people exiting through that little thing by placing a red bench there, which they're happy to remove. I talked to Black Dog, and they're excited about this.
I don't like that location.
I'm not sure it
It
serves
doesn't really
well.
work.
You don't think so?
What
Oh.
are the other choices?
I'll show you in a bit.
Okay.
So, well, my coworkers in the department are really happy about this, but we can talk
Sure.
more about. It's just that there are a lot of people sometimes who wait outside at Black Dog. Less so now that there's the Champaign location now. But since this is meant to be sat on, I thought that would be kind of interesting, and it serves the purpose of directing the cars, which is also interesting. And the placement of it doesn't have to be left-sided; it can be centered too. It's just hard to Photoshop because there's a person walking. Yeah, so there's that. There is this patch of grass on the right, and I guess it could go there, but Public Works prefers that it doesn't because they already planted hundreds of dollars worth of plants there. So they would just cancel all that out. Let's move on for now, and we can talk about other ideas later.
Okay.
This is the third sculpture, Monolith, and for now we're thinking the southwest corner of the courthouse. This is also county property. And I spoke to someone from the county. He's receptive of the idea, but it's not his own decision, so he has to talk to the sheriff and the judges, and he will get back to me on that.
If we don't use that, what about the space out here on the
South?
corner? Yeah.
Yes, I kind of like that space.
Yeah,
and
I
there are
think
already
that would be a good
benches.
place for it.
So that's, I think, a good backup space for
Yeah.
this piece. Okay. And this is the horse and the hound. So the city wanted to place 2 sculptures at the Boneyard, and this benefits us because we only have so much available to sponsor sculptures, and by placing one at the Boneyard, we can use a different fund that's used specifically for Boneyard visibility. So that way we can sponsor more sculptures. This one is very short. Let me see what so it's 45 inches tall. It's life size, so it's like a life size horse on like sitting down. So if you place it on the lawn, it will not be visible at all, especially if
That's what I
you're
was afraid
just
of,
driving.
yeah.
But there's this patch that's at the entrance of the park that would work. I
Is
measured
this
it
right
already.
off of the bridge?
Not a bit south from the. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
So this is Race,
Yeah.
the corner of Race and Griggs. So I thought that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
It's also rarely visible, so people,
Yeah, I like that too.
yeah. And then these are other locations. So PAL has sponsors. They solicit local sponsors, right? You know, the City of Urbana, City of Champaign, MTD is sponsoring one, but also local individuals or even private companies. And so a lot of these people are already set on where they want their sculptures,
Right.
usually outside of their business or office, you
Right.
know. But there are a couple who are still looking for locations. So I sent them our list of possible locations that we're thinking of. So maybe, hopefully, they'll consider it.
Oh, that'd be great.
One is the Johnson Park, which is at Washington and Philo. And right now we have the sculpture Twisted 2, which is expiring. So I think that would be good. And the other one, I was thinking the space where the bench is in the middle.
Oh,
So this is the
Oh, yeah.
parking lot that's across from the Korean restaurant, Masita Grill.
mm-hmm.
So water and race.
Yeah, that's career over there.
And that's actually pretty good size. Like, you know, the bench doesn't even take up a quarter of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I already checked with Public Works. There's nothing there that can stop us from putting something there. There could also be a good possible location for a new leaf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you like it better than Black Dog?
Well, it might not conflict as much.
Yeah.
Well,
It
really, it'd
seems
be best to
really-
put around the grass, but
Yeah.
It seems really out of place.
yes.
Oh,
I
at
agree.
Black Dog?
The lines
I
are
agree.
Just visually,
Do you think
Mhm.
it'll still be really out of place, even centered?
yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
all together.
Okay.
I don't think they enhance each other's.
No.
Okay. So this
Seems
is
like maybe in a more organic nature
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yes.
kind of setting.
Yes.
okay. Would this kind of work
You mean
where the bench is?
It's
in front of
better.
that tree?
Possibly.
Or does it have to be that, could it be kind of offset, or does it have to be, oh, it's a bench, right?
Yeah,
There's a
it
bench
is
there
kind of a
now.
bench, and people are allowed to sit on it.
Well, I think it would depend on the distance from the tree to the edge of that little island.
Are you talking about taking the bench out and putting it in
Yeah,
the middle?
we're thinking about
Yeah.
taking
Yeah, okay.
the bench out and putting it in the middle little square
But
there.
I mean, in terms of scale, it depends on how wide the sculpture is.
So
So
the
it
sculpture
doesn't-
definitely fits. This picture in the Photoshop image, it's a bit too big. I did not scale it very well. The dimensions are,
There they are.
so it's only like 4 feet tall. And that definitely fits in the square here.
Mhm.
Yeah, but what about the width? Is 8 feet?
It's 8 feet long.
Oh, long.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And we measured that already, so we know that it will fit.
Do people actually sit on that bench currently?
Not really, but I think that may change if the bench is more interesting. That's what I think. What do you think? We
I don't
do
think
have.
there's much of a need for a bench there because of the location.
If there's is there a location where you'd want to draw people to that the bench might be placed that would enhance visibility?
Yeah, the place on Vine would have been perfect, but it
Where is
doesn't
that?
work. Oh, the one that is, it doesn't
Oh,
fit.
Vine and
Yeah, Vine
Maine.
in Maine.
Yeah. Except we don't really see people sitting there.
I know,
and-
but
yeah.
everyone would see it passing by. I mean,
That's true.
it's a main artery.
Mhm. But I like this because it's a really busy parking lot.
Mhm.
I feel like it's never empty,
That's
and it's
true.
close to a lot of restaurants. So
Right.
maybe it can become like a meeting point. You know, I'll wait for you by the crazy bench. I didn't say
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, I'm
the
not-
beautiful
I'm
bench.
Meet
not-
you at the New Leaf. Yeah.
I think this is better than
Black Dog.
Black Dog. What do you think, Eric?
So I want to put in something completely different. Would we consider putting a piece in the mall?
I kind of thought about in front of Amara for a bit. There's just a lot of space there, and they already have
Right.
trees and their own art installation and some seating out there. Well, first it has to have the mall's permission, I guess, and Amara's permission. And then I thought about how it would be really close to their wall, so you can't really walk around it and enjoy the
Yeah.
sculpture from all directions.
Mm-hmm.
It would
I-
be kind of sitting against the wall.
I'm just thinking as a general proposition of putting art in the mall.
Oh, in the mall.
In the mall. I mean, there's foot traffic. If it's something that people could sit on, people do want to sit in the mall. Maybe it would attract people.
I haven't asked yet, but I am a bit pessimistic about that, especially because this particular piece is very heavy at 3,000 pounds. So
Yeah.
I imagine they would be concerned about floor damage.
Yeah.
Has that piece already been accepted? I mean, so it's a matter of finding a place for it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It is, I see, okay.
Yeah.
Could it be in front of a school?
Not really,
Okay.
because the funding for this sculpture project comes from TIF.
So it's
So
gonna
it,
be
can,
TIF
Oh, it's
it
gotta
has
stay
to
in the
be
TIF
placed
district?
within the
Mhm.
TIF district, which makes it a little bit
Yeah.
more
I'm
complicated.
thinking of that big open space at Yankee Ridge School, because they have a lot of grass and open.
Yeah, they do. Although it might get kind of lost there.
Good, yeah.
So Meadowbrook is out, right?
It's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I think this parking lot one is a better location anyway.
Okay.
Somehow I like it in a natural setting somehow,
Mhm.
better than the other two.
I
Yes.
guess I have a question that, kind of back to what I was asking
Yeah.
before, the tree trunk,
Uh-huh.
from the tree trunk to the edge, like where the bench is that how wide is that space? I mean,
Oh.
it looks real kind of narrow, but it could be the photograph.
I didn't measure that. I only measured the...
I mean, is it like, is it?
it's not too
Because
wide.
the reason I'm bringing it up is because well, I don't know, I mean, I'm maybe being too
But
finicky, but the physical shape, I mean, it could look like it was just kind of plopped there, and there's
Uh-huh.
a tree there, and there's not much space in front of the tree, so I don't know, I mean, it could be interesting. I wish there was a place without any tree, so it becomes a statement, because
Mm-hmm.
it just is this white thing sitting in front of a tree on a green patch.
okay.
And I
Oh,
don't know, that's just my feedback.
I can see that the tree could look like it's blocking it. Well, the sculpture will go not on the grass patch,
Oh.
but
In the cement.
in
The
the...
center
The
section.
Yeah.
bench will
Then
come
we-
out, and then the sculpture would go in the middle,
Yeah, on the concrete.
on the concrete. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then is there enough space to walk around it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually
It's
quite
hard to
large.
tell from the photograph.
Yeah.
It's an angled issue,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
I don't know the exact timing of this space being cleared, but we have just purchased 2 blocks on Locust Street. That the backs of these properties, the front is Locust Street, the backs is
Okay.
the Boneyard Creek area.
Is that still in TIF?
And I am pretty sure it is in TIF.
Okay.
And the intention is for it to enhance the Boneyard.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the timing is when the sculpture has to be placed and when the existing structures will be cleared off of that
Uh-huh.
property. But that might be a really nice place. It might be that property and this piece might go very well. And I know that owner next door, Greg Springer, who actually has a lot of connections with the art world historically in this community, has written to us about his concerns that property be. He wrote very movingly to us because his wife was a very dedicated gardener, and he wrote about his concerns that something really beautiful be done with that space. So might be interesting to communicate with Public Works and see what the timetable is for that, for those lots to actually be cleared and available
Mhm.
for beautification.
Okay, I can definitely check with Public Works. And to answer your question, this will be arriving in the fall, so
Mhm.
probably around October.
So maybe at the next meeting, we could look at alternative sites, or?
Yeah, we can. I
Okay.
can try photoshopping that a new leaf to this location.
That's
Um,
nice. That's very helpful when you do that.
Mhm.
Really
yeah,
helps us get a
and
better
I'll
sense of
think
it.
better about scale this time because
Uh-huh.
I was looking at that other picture and I was like, that man can't be that tall. And I realized my mistake. So I can redo that. And another location, I guess, is the south of the city building, as Pat mentioned. So that can be the backup space for Monolith, or there's a donor who's looking for a location right now, and I'm trying to reach him. So he has this also kind of longer piece. So I think that would also work well
Yeah.
on the south of the city building. I also kind of thought about Lille Park because that's like one
Oh.
of the very few parks that actually fall in the TIF district.
Mhm.
I guess I'll have to talk to the park district.
Sure.
I think
Might
we
look
did
nice
talk
in that
about,
setting.
we did think about placing a new leaf at Lille Park possibly.
Might look nice in that
Although the
setting.
concern would be that it's not very visible.
That's the thing, the park is so large.
But a lot of
Yeah.
people use the park, don't they?
So,
I guess it depends on what we want to achieve from this particular piece. You know, if it's at Lille, it'll be like, you know, kind of like a little secret that
right.
people discover and I get really excited about, which is not a bad thing either.
So there's this little micro park next to Strawberry Fields on
Patterson
Main Street. Yeah,
Park?
Patterson Park.
I don't think most people even know it's there, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
Phillips
and
Strawberry
it's directly west of Strawberry Fields.
might
on
not
Main
even know it's
Street,
a park.
on the south side.
It's
Yeah,
that
I mean
small.
it's just a tiny little area that's got plants that looks kind of wild.
yeah, it does.
And but people do go by there frequently, and actually there's a lot of, relative to other streets, there's a fair amount of pedestrian traffic on Main Street. So yeah, I don't know, that's it as was pointed out, a lot of people don't know it's there, but partly that's because there's nothing really distinctive there. Maybe, I don't know. Just a thought.
I guess my feeling is, though, because we have so few sculptures this time, I'd really like them to be in places where people can see them.
Maximum impact, yeah. That makes
And that's
good
why I
sense.
like,
If we had as many as we did last time, it might be a little different. I might feel differently, but
yeah. That's partly why I like this space so much because if you do park there, you basically can see the sculpture from all angles just driving.
yeah, and there
So
is
you'll
a
go
lot
around
of
it.
traffic there and foot traffic too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, if you think of any other places, feel free to email me.
I'm just looking, I know that is that the Courier that has the garden across the way?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't know whether Alan would allow something to be put there, but even that space, I mean, everybody would see it from all directions too.
So that garden is currently full of, well, I guess, plants, and
Sure.
they have their own seating as well.
Right.
Also,
Oh.
the problem with that is that it's kind of lower than street level. It kind of it's kind of
no.
slanted a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think even ground would be better.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you can bring, several sites for next time, we'll take a look at that.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
And again,
Okay.
if you think of anything else, email me.
Yeah, we have to think about outside the box now. We drive around town and start.
Yes, please.
We'll get ideas.
It's
now
really
that
fun.
You've planted the seed in our brains.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
Jessica's
sorry.
here now?
Eric has.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Just a point of information, as of last night, per action by the City Council, the Boneyard Creek Improvement Project now has a more euphonious name. It's the Boneyard Creek Crossing.
Oh, okay. It's
So-
That
certainly
is
better.
great news. I,
There was a lot of, there had been a lot of talk about somehow gentrifying or Disneyfying the name to Silver Creek, but that movement has been effectively crushed, and it is now Boneyard Creek Crossing.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
started a couple
That's
of
better.
years ago, didn't it? I remember. I remember when the discussion first came up and people were submitting ideas.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. And they came from Public Arts Commission, all this input, and everybody wanted, something like Boneyard Creek, Boneyard Creek Crossing, I think, was a favorite. And the mayor
Oh, that's right.
really didn't want that. So she dragged her feet, but finally we got it on the agenda last night. And it's Boneyard Creek Crossing.
Perfect.
good.
Now
Okay,
our
very good.
posters.
Well, now I can be on
Can say-
Pokemon Go or something, right?
It already is.
Oh, we are, actually, the sculpture out
Tree
here
out
is.
here is, yeah, right.
Um,
And the one at the stranger at the library is also.
No,
or
but the
That
library
one's
itself
not.
is.
So most of the Pokemon Go stuffs come from this other database. They are a bit older. So, well, Spirit Tree is old enough to be in there, and Falling Leaf too. But some of the other ones, either they're not there, or the previous sculpture they used to be there years ago, are on the app.
Oh,
Except
great.
for a Thirst at Boneyard, for some reason, it's the most up-to-date sculpture on Pokemon Go. So, I don't know who put it there, but thank you. Yeah, it's really interesting for Pokemon Go. I know the farmers market is already utilizing it to lure visitors, and that's the official term for it. You can set up a lure, so people come to you to catch Pokemons.
I thought the librarian had said that the one she was happy because there's also, or the library appeared on the app.
I think the library
Is it the
does,
library that appears?
Yes.
Okay.
and so does the space of Asteray. But if you go there, it still says bench number 9, which is the previous
Oh,
piece that
right.
used to be there before
Ah,
Asteray.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
It's changing the game of marketing.
Yeah, it sure is.
Well, now we're coming back around to the beginning for the introductions for Jessica Snyder.
Welcome.
Jessica, welcome. Would you like to just say a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Hi. Thanks for the welcome, and truly sorry that I didn't get here on time. I had it in my calendar for Thursday, and then as I was riding my bike home, I thought maybe I'm wrong, and I did, and I'm really glad I checked. So, not off to a great start, but I promise I'll be here
that's all right.
on time every time. So, yeah, thanks for having me on this commission.
Sure. Do you want to talk a bit about your background? or-
Sure. So I'm a graphic designer at Applied Pavement Technology, which is a pavement engineering firm that's right above Crane Alley, little known.
Mhm.
And also, several years ago, I was an intern for the public arts program, if I remember some of you from back then. Really excited to help promote art in Urbana. So thanks.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Okay. Did anybody have any announcements before we finish? Okay.
I have
Okay.
a
go
small
ahead.
announcement.
By the way, while she's looking for that, if anybody on the commission has, something they want to promote that's related to the arts, this is the time to do it. So if you're aware of a showing or something that you'd like to publicize, feel free to do that.
I received this in the mail today. So the Parkland faculty show at Gertz Gallery is from August 22nd to September 17th, and they have an opening reception on Thursday, September 1st from 5 to 7 p.m. Again, that's at Gertz Gallery. It's always a great show every year. I still have several of these photos from Clark Lindsay, so if you didn't take one and you want one for your fridge or whatever, let me know. They're over here. I think that's all I have.
Okay. Eric, go ahead.
So this is a little offbeat, but I'll just put it out there. So some of you, people of my vintage, might remember Grace Babakanyan, who did arts. So Grace and Ari live in New York City now. They have a daughter, Alexa. And Naomi and I have a son, Eric, who also lives in New York City. And Eric and Alexa have a son. And they have produced Eric and Alexa, and Etenraku is their son's name, after the Japanese word music of the spirits, because when Alexa found she was pregnant, she was composing a piece in that genre. And so that's the name that the boy has. And they have online the story of their family in a music video called Love Child. So it's the story of Eric and Alexa growing up in Urbana, going to New York, producing Etten, who is also in the video. So it's, and they call themselves, when they do stuff together, Gunnar and Jane. So Gunnar and Jane Love Child. Maybe I'll send this around. So you might find it amusing because it has Urbana roots, and it's actually pretty good fun, and there are lots of old photographs of Eric and Alexa growing up in Urbana that accompany the music.
That's very
All
cool.
right.
Actually, I have
ahead.
one more.
Sure, go ahead.
So there's this project that we funded through the grants program a few months ago, and it's something that has become the buzz of town. So the organizer, Deke Weaver, is a university professor, but he did a Pachakacha talk a couple of weeks ago, and since then I've got some questions about it, and people are talking about it. So it's a very highly anticipated art event of the year. And he just set up a Kickstarter or a crowdfunding page, and if you just search Bear on Kickstarter, I think you should be able to find it. But he also credits us in the video, so we can just play it. It's really well made, I think,
Oh.
and quite humorous, if it'll
So-
play.
So Deke, if we supported Deke for anything, he would be a good bet to do something very controversial. So maybe we could get something like that.
Let's see if it'll play. I'm not sure why it's not.
Oh, there it goes.
Hey, I'm Deke Weaver. Me too. I'm Deke Weaver too. I'm a writer, performer, theater artist, designer, and video maker. And I'm making a lifelong project called The Unreliable Bestiary, a performance for each letter of the alphabet, each letter represented by an endangered animal or habitat. The next performance we're working on is Bear, and we need your help to make it. On Darwin's 200th birthday, we opened Monkey. We opened Monkey in a black box theater, but other performances are taking place in sites that are specific to the animal's story. In 2010, we did Elephant. Elephant was huge. There was giant projections, dance, songs, storytelling, and an enormous elephant puppet. In 2013, we did Wolf. Wolf took people on a 40-minute bus ride, walked them through the woods at sunset, leading to a barn that was filled with video, dance, songs, and storytelling. Bear is going to take place in 3 parts. It's almost always about transformation. So I've been doing some transforming of myself. The Bestiary is made up from a great group of collaborating artists, designers, and performers. A lot of these brilliant people have worked on other Bestiary performances. We've all been writing, building, recording, rehearsing, composing, molding, gluing, and plotting. Bear is happening. We've got support from the University of Illinois, Urbana Park District, and the City of Urbana Public Arts Program. But we need your help to fully fund artist fees and materials for this ambitious 3-part, 6-month performance. So be part of the Unreliable Bestiary. Help us make Bear. Thanks.
It's always nice to see our grant recipients be so resourceful and seek other opportunities as well. So I thought I'll share that with you.
Thanks. Great. With that, would someone like to move that we adjourn?
So moved.
Second? We're done. Thanks, everybody, for coming.